Fast and Faithers, we're back with Dr. Berg again. This time, the most powerful group behind what you eat, behind all that stuff in the supermarket, is a group that are powerful, that are controlling. Once again, control is the key. Everything. Are you going to let them control you, or are you going to control the situation by controlling what you eat, when you eat, how you eat? Let's see what Dr. Berg got to say.
And you might even think that they're like the top brands that you see in the grocery store, but they're not the real big players. There are actually 4 companies that control 90% of...
Whoa, 4 companies that control 90% of all food. Think about it. So if these 4 companies want to kill us, how hard would it be for them to put toxins in our foods? Control us. Poison us. They just got to talk to each other. Say, hey, guy, what do you think? What are we going to do this week? Yeah, we're going to put a little bit more toxins. Yeah, make them a little bit more sick so they can go back to our buddy, our cousin, Big Pharma, for more pills. That's a lot of control. 90% of all our foods, 4 companies. 4.
the grain trade. And I'm talking about products made from corn, soy, wheat, sugar, rice. You have to realize that these commodities make up like 68% of the average person's calories, at least in the United States. And this group is composed of 4 companies. They're kind of silent giants because a lot of people don't even know that they exist. They're the extremely powerful and influential middlemen.
Silent giants controlling 90% of our food.
And between the farmers, who they heavily control, as well as the other brands that you know about, like...
We got to see that again. He got my man with the hands laid on him like he in church. And the mind control of the farmers. Dr. Berg, you should be ashamed of yourself. Look at my man. He's like, zzz, zzz.
control, as well as the other brands that you know about, like Nestle and Kellogg's, etc. And they have huge influence over commodities. Well, commodities are like a stock market for crops. I mean, I have a tiny bit of experience with commodities.
Think about who he's talking about, Nestle and Kellogg's. And when we hear these names, I thought about it. When I heard Nestle, I don't think of a big green giant. I think of chocolate. I think of sweetness, candiness. When I think of Kellogg's, I don't think of a green big giant. I think of frosted flakes, sweetness, candiness. Is that by design or coincidence?
Commodities. I had no business going into the commodity market. There's still skid marks on the turnpike going right into Philadelphia. When my wife was driving with all these kids in the back seat, I thought that was the best time to tell her that, honey, I lost all of our savings in the commodities market. Well, she slammed on the brakes, and there was a little island of land right next to this.
What you said, boy? Man, that's got to be crazy. Sorry, I'm just laughing because it's already happened and you got over it. But you said she slammed on the brakes. Mercy. All right, I'm glad you made it through, brother.
Major freeway that she pulled off of. She gets out of the car. She walks up and down this little piece of land. Let's just say she was extremely upset, and she had to let out some steam, and rightfully so. And the whole thing is very confusing. But these 4 companies have a huge influence on what those prices are set at. And they get themselves into a really good situation because $700 billion a year are spent on subsidies for commodities like corn, wheat, soybean, Now, there was a really interesting study in the American Journal of Agricultural Economics.
Think about that. 4 companies. 4. Let's say corn is worth $3, and they want it to be worth $4. But there's only 4 companies that control 90%. They all agree we're going to all put our corn at $4. What do you think is going to happen? Nothing. You know why? Because we can't get no corn nowhere else. So we got to pay $4. That's power. Food is power. And they know it.
Giving them $700 billion a year, that should allow us to buy this food for a lot cheaper. For every dollar of corn subsidy, the resulting decrease in corn prices only led to a 2 cents reduction. Wait a second, that's not fair. I just gave you $1 and I'm getting 2 cents back. Let's say you want to go buy a donut at the store and these donuts are $1, okay? So you go to the store and what you might not realize is that you already spent $1.95 for that donut. And you didn't know it because it indirectly came through your paying for your taxes and you bought the raw materials to make it. And then you spend your $1. So the total amount of money that you spent for that donut is $2.95. Then, of course, when you eat the donut, you eventually have health problems. So you have to go to the doctor and pay the doctor to fix your blood sugars, your high blood pressure, your high cholesterol, dementia, your heart.
Could there be a connection? I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm not a private investigator. I don't know none of that. But could there be a connection with the horrible food that we have? Standard American diet with all this processed nonsense that keeps us toxic, sick, and dependent on Big Pharma. Could there be a connection, dear? Toxic food, Big Pharma. Hey, man, let's work together. We keep him sick. I keep him getting more pills. And we get rich. Big money. And we control them. I'm just saying, I probably watch too much TV. Who am I?
Burn. But thank goodness you have insurance, right? But the point is that these companies got themselves in a really good situation because a lot of the raw materials are paid for by you in advance. Oh. So the 4 companies, A, B, C, D, the first one is called Archer, Daniels, Midland, and then Bunge, and then Cargill, and then Louis Dreyfus. Those are the 4 companies that pretty much own the grain trade. They're the companies that supply 68% of your calories. And what's really wild is the junk food brands also own a lot of the organic and natural brands as well.
Wait, Dr. Berg. The junk food brands own the organic brands as well. What?
Hello, Moto.
Man.
Well as pet food and the vitamin and supplement companies as well. Now, what's even more bizarre is if we kind of just lump together the 3 main ingredients in 99% of all junk food. We have starches, we have sugars, we have seed oils, right? And we know the sugars are there to sweeten something, and they're highly addictive, and they will keep you craving for more sweets the more you eat them, right? The seed oils originated long ago in the 1800s with cottonseed oil. They were trying to figure out what to do with this waste, and so they decided to use it as a fuel. And then they decided, well, let's just put it in the food supply. And that was the start of repurposing a waste product from something else. And then we have...
Whoa, Doc. Repurposing a waste product in food? We don't know what to do with this waste. I got a great idea. What is it, man? Come on. We ain't got time. Don't waste our time. Why don't we put it in food? That makes sense. We feed them. Keep them toxic. Guess where they're going to go after? To our cousin Big... it sounds... maybe.
Starches, right? What's the purpose of a starch? The purpose of a starch is to add bulk to the product. It's not even sweet, even though a starch is a chain of sugar. I mean, it's one thing to add a filler for a product to kind of bulk up so you can sell it at a cheaper amount, but it's another thing to sell a filler that can create more of a spike on the glycemic index than actual cane sugar by a factor of 185. So if we're comparing certain sugars to starches like cane sugar, on the glycemic index, it's 65 for sugar. But then for maltodextrin, for example, that can go all the way up to 185. So think about what that's doing to your health. This so-called benign filler is creating major problems, and it's in so many foods. I started looking through ultra-processed foods to see how much of this starch was present, and I got numbers from anywhere between 35 to 60% of the calories were these starches. This video is
35 to 60% of our calories are from starches that are toxic to our body, and mostly processed foods, or predominantly. So the processed foods were created or designed or engineered to process or begin the process of sickness and toxicity inside of us. So when you eat processed foods, you're agreeing to begin the process of sickness and toxicity inside of you. Wow.
really about increasing the awareness of who's really controlling the food supply. And so this entire system of subsidizing certain...
Please, don't get me wrong. I'm not judging you. If you like a Twinkie or Snicker bar, Twinkie or Snicker bar it up. I have my own struggles. But we should know the truth. And only the truth is going to set us or make us free. It's up to you what you do with this information. It's your decision. Twinkie, Snicker bar, toxicity. Grab an apple.
Crops started during the Depression. They should have stopped it right there, but they kept going. And now we have a system that really does not benefit you because you're buying certain ingredients at the expense of your own health with other companies majorly benefiting from your tax dollars.
Look at my man, sister, and my brother. That's the big money companies. They laugh at us. But they kill us through the process, toxicity in our foods. Who do you think behind these animals? It ain't God.
So it might sound like there's nothing you can do, but there is something you can do. The market follows the demand, okay? That means the market follows what you buy. If you keep buying these products, this system will stay in existence forever. If you stop buying these products, you basically decrease the demand and the market will go in another direction. And so what I'm really trying to communicate is that you need to go on a low-carb, ketogenic diet, not just for your own health, but to influence this system, which I think is extremely corrupt.
Low carb, keto. I would have to add, make sure you eat your veggies. I wouldn't count my carbs for veggies. I'm on a low carb keto, but I don't sit there and say, well, my veggies got too many carbs. I eat as much veggies as I want. Now, you don't want to overdo. Maybe everybody likes a little toast. One slice of toast, maybe, with some almond butter. That's what I like, periodically. Not too much rice, but just enough. I like sweet potato more than I like regular potato. and I probably prefer brown rice or quinoa. So you don't want to overdo it. So you try to stay low, but you want to be high in nutrients from vegetables, fruits, nuts, and not too high in grains. That's what I would do.